Hey everyone, I'm out in my garden today on a hot June day, and I've noticed since when I came back from vacation, earwigs have been loving my garden. So today I'm going to actually talk about some of the ways that we mitigate them here in my garden that I was a little bit late on, but I'm still going to do now that it's in the heat of the season, and a couple of ways of trapping them. The first way is a new way that my brother suggested to me using diatomaceous earth. I have used that around my plants in the past, but I've never done kind of a trap that he suggested with it. And I figure I'll try it, and I'll give a video of what exactly I did to mitigate for this trap, and then I'll show another one that I use where my chickens kind of do the finishing up process. So we'll start off with that first trap. So let's see if I could see some. There were quite a few earwigs in here. There's some running around. I'm not sure if I'm capturing that on the video or not. When I lifted this, there was a couple of bags sitting here, and I had them full of leaves. I was planning on moving out of here or using them for mulch. You can really start to see them right there. When I lifted them up, these guys scrammed everywhere. And without even thinking, hey, this would be a good shot for the video, I moved them out of here. And I realized, messed that shot up, but that's okay. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a lot under these leaves right here. Well, not so many, but we have earwigs bad in the garden. And now the earwigs, they love to hide under anything they can. There you go, there's some running all over. These leaves would be a good spot for them to hide, underneath the boards. You think of anything dark and cool, there you have it. Those roots from when I moved it. There's just tons of earwigs everywhere. So one of the first things that I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna bring a rake in and just rake all of this dried, dead stuff that you're seeing just everywhere where these earwigs are living under. That takes away one home from them. And then I'm gonna show how you can kind of use the fact that they wanna hide under something to your advantage in mitigation. Kind of wondering if I have earwigs underneath this planter box. This is where we have some thyme and two different types of rosemary. But I can see that there's a gap under there, and from the drip system that's in there, it stays pretty moist under here. Too moist and the earwigs won't be there, but just the right moisture, they're gonna love it because it's gonna be a nice, cool place to hide. If I don't have earwigs under this, I'm definitely going to have potato bugs. So let's take a look. Yeah, I'm just seeing potato bugs galore right there, which has been another one of the problems that we've had in this garden. So I'm actually going to gather these up and feed them to the chickens. These are actually a land type of crustacean similar to the shrimp, and so they're really, really good feed for the chickens. So one of the things I did is I picked up a lot of the dirt that I actually saw the earwigs and stuff in. And you can see there's a few in here, but this is my second bucket. I poured the first one right into my chicken coop. You can see our silver loghorn, who they just love to go after bugs. She's now in there pecking and eating up every bug that she can see. So I'm using these bugs now, that some of them I'm pretty sure have fed on our garden, to come back and feed our chickens to kind of help minimize our losses, but also give them a variety of stuff to eat. I'm going to take this last bucket, pour it in here, and they'll just scratch through it, finding, oh, there's an earwig right there, finding all the earwigs and eating them and helping mitigate the garden. And then I'm going to show you how to build that trap that my brother described using diatomaceous earth. So to build this trap, you're going to need some diatomaceous earth. We actually got this more for our chickens. We put it in with their feed. It's supposed to help with worms and other nutritional things, but we also bathe their dust in it. So there's kind of like a two-way thing with it. But you get some diatomaceous earth. We found this at Home Depot, and here in Utah, I like to get it at this place called IFA. They're a really awesome co-op that supplies garden supplies and farmers and ranchers, and they just seem to have about everything that I want there or need for the garden. But we're just going to take that And then you're gonna need a piece of flat wood right here. Stuff like this, I normally say, hey, try to keep it out of your garden because that's where the bugs like to live under. But in this case, we're gonna use that to help us. So I'm gonna take this diatomaceous earth and just scatter some out on the ground, like so. I didn't mean to make a big pile of it, but and I'm already getting it on the bugs. And then there's some clumps. Take that board and set over the top of it. Now the animals, well, the bugs are going to want to go in there and use it as a refugee from the heat. As a nice damp, even though it's not going to be that damp here, place to sleep at night. Well, actually they go out and eat, but to rest from the day. But then they'll get the diatomaceous earth all over them. And from what I understand, how the diatomaceous works to kill insects is it dries them out, and the smaller particles that are in it act like spears and jab into their bodies. So you have a two-way effect of them killing off the insects. And that trap is set. I've never done this before. My brother said, hey, he's heard that it works great. So I'm gonna go ahead and try it right here where I had all of those. I might make another one in a different area. But I hope that that helps. One other note that I've noticed is my neighbor who's on the other side of the fence, he sprays his weeds. And when we have the earwigs problems is right after he sprays. And I think that's because it kills off any green stuff that the bugs would be living on and forces them to come over to here. We also have the same issues of when we get grasshoppers. And here in Utah this year, we're under extreme drought conditions. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see insect issues worse, because they're gonna wanna go to where it's green. And if rain's not falling anywhere else and you're watering your garden, that's where they're gonna wanna be. So another spot that I'm trying it is under this pot. I've grown raspberries and I've done some videos on it. I mean, this one's doing awesome this year. But we put raspberries under here, and yeah, I lifted that up and out came lots of earwigs. So that's another spot where I went and made that trap to see what happens. And same with this pot, even though I don't have anything in it, I just soil, just a small dusting. I hope that mitigates them. Another spot where I'm gonna go ahead and make it is actually underneath my compost bin right here. So this is the compost that I just shake back into the garden. You know, use it, I just have it here ready to go. And I created a spot without thinking about it, because I tried to mitigate plants and roots growing up into it. So I put down this weed barrier on top of some cardboard. Though I didn't notice any earwigs, box elder bugs. Yeah, so I don't know if diatomaceous earth works on them. I assume so, because they are an insect. To help mitigate it here, I'm going to put some diatomaceous earth just under this cardboard. I might actually eliminate this piece, because this one really isn't doing much for me but creating bug cover. So will this weed block, but I'll put it down under here, and hopefully I can get rid of this mess that's starting to form. So once again, you know, in your gardens, you want to make sure you're eliminating these spots where the pests can easily breed and grow. I mean, this bucket I use to throw stuff into that eventually goes into my compost bin, and it's even a spot that can harbor them. So I might put diatomaceous earth under it, because it pretty much stays here, and then I just take it to the compost bin once it gets full. So for this last earwig trap, what I like to use are these flower pots and some cardboard. So all you want to do is just break it down into pieces that are roughly the size of this, and then stick them inside of here, and I'll show you how that is done. So once the cardboard is in here, you don't need to make it too tightly because you want enough space that the earwigs can crawl in between the pieces of the cardboard.
Oh.
You want to take and make it damp.
Okay.
And then once it's damp, you just take it and place it anywhere in your garden. Sometimes what I like to do is put them in spots that I know the earwigs come in and are attacking, and I might choose this grow bed because any of my beans that are popping up, they've been eating the tops of it off. So I just set it right there, and then after a couple of days, I take it and I just pull out all the cardboard and shake it off into my chicken coop, wind it back up, and do it all again. And I do that just throughout the summer. And on the next video, I might actually show me emptying out the trap. Hopefully it has quite a few in it. I'm going to build 2 more of these, place them in different parts of the garden. But that's how I mitigate earwigs in the garden. First, by keeping it clean. Second, by doing different traps. There's this other trap that I've tried that uses soy oil and soy sauce and oil, but I don't like that one because I end up with this like pasty mess that I have to clean up in the end, and my kid plays in it. So these ones have done pretty good. They even catch potato bugs and other bugs. So thanks for watching. I realized I didn't explain the idea entirely behind this trap, but the whole idea is that the earwigs will crawl in the small holes of those flower pots and then go up and live between the cardboard because they like those tight areas. And then you can just take the cardboard out like this and shake it off into the chicken coop. It worked really good last year. I'm going to try it again this year. One issue I had is that the cardboard already dried out because how hot it is, and they do like more damp areas to live. So I'm going to put some more water into it. I did notice some potato bugs inside of it, but I'm also wondering if it being black, if that's going to be a hindrance to it, because it's going to be super hot instead of a nice cool place. I might stick them in a more shaded area of the garden and see how it works. So far I haven't. Well, I guess there's a couple earwigs now coming out and about that I saw on the ground. One right there moving about, and the potato bugs. But I'm going to continue to tamper with this one, and it worked really well last year, so I have faith that it'll work this year.